All right, hang with me. Here's our last bit of definitions for this first section. You can do this, all right? So our levels of measurement of a variable, that's what we're trying to look at here. So what are our levels that go with this? There are four, right? There are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So we're going to talk about all four of them and how you can distinguish between those, because that's always the question students ask me. How can I distinguish between these? So we'll talk about that. All right, so let's throw this down first. A variable is at the nominal level of measurement if the values of the variable name, label, or categorize. Name, label, or categorize. Oh, sometimes I stop mid-writing. I don't know why I do that. My brain goes off to something else. Okay, name, label, or categorize. In addition, the naming scheme does not allow for the values of the variable to be arranged in a ranked or specific order. That's the key. Solely nominal, and I like to just say with nominal, I like to just call it the name. Nominal name. So you name it, you label it, that's it, right? It's just everybody has a name. That is who is in this classroom, right? That's what we're looking at. It's just categorized by that name, individuals here. All right. A variable here is at the ordinal level of measurement if it has properties of the nominal level of measurement, so it already has a name. However, the naming scheme allows for the values of the variable to be arranged in a ranked or specific order. So they have to be arranged. Oh, I'm using a different color. It doesn't matter. In a ranked or specific order. That's the key to this, all right? So here's the difference between these two. Not does not allow for a specific order. These, are arranged or in a specific order. First, second, third. Ordinal, right? Thank you, Captain Obvious, is an order. It is in a specific order. First, second, third. That's an example, right? It has to be in a specific order. It has to be set up a specific way in order for that to work out. All right? A variable in an interval level. Now, here's the deal so those two are kind of nominal, name, ordinal, order. All right, so you've got that squared away. Now, here's the deal. We're going to kind of talk about interval and ratio together. I'm going to throw both of those down, and then we're going to see the difference between the two, because this is usually where people have questions. All right. A variable is at the interval level of measurement if it has properties of the ordinal level, so it's in an order, and the differences in the values of the variable have meaning. And the differences in the values of the variable have meaning. A value of 0 does not mean the absence of quantity. Oops, I had the wrong thing. A value of 0 does not mean the absence of quantity. Arithmetic operations such as addition and subtraction can be performed on values of the variable. All right? Now, let's do this next one, then we'll talk about the differences between the two. A variable is a ratio level if it has the properties of the interval level of measurement and the ratios of the values of the variable have meaning. And the ratio of the values of the variable have meaning. Oops, I hit the wrong thing again. A value of 0 means the absence of quantity. Arithmetic operations such as multiplication and division can be formed on these values. Now, here's the deal. When it comes to interval, it's literally on an interval, right? So if I'm talking about something that is an interval, here I'm at 0. All right, so a value of 0 does not mean the absence of quantity. It's just in the lineup. It's on that interval. If I have a positive 1 versus a negative 1, that is on that interval. 0 is just a placeholder, is what I like to call it. And we're going to talk about it here below a little bit, but it is a placeholder. Just 0 is a part of that. All right. So that is a placeholder. However, in ratio, so I think interval is appropriate so you look at this at interval. Now the ratio is called ratio, and it is the measurement and ratio of values. But here's really the moral of this story. A value of 0 means the absence of quantity. So 0 has a value. It is an actual absence of quantity. It's not just a placeholder in the lineup. It stands for a quantity. All right, that's the key to this one, is it has an actual quantity. 0 has that actual value associated with it. All right. Okay. So let's look at these. I'm going to squeeze this back in because I want you to see all 4. Nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So here are our 4 options. Well, you've got them on your paper so you can see them. Right, so let's look back through these so you can see this bigger on my screen. All right. Gender. What is it? Nominal, ordinal, ratio, or interval. I said those backwards. Interval or ratio. Nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio. Nominal, right? There is no number associated with it at all. So there's no value that goes with any of that. This is nominal. It's just in name. All right? So that is a nominal level. It's only categorizing male or female. There's no numeric value associated with that. It's just in name. You have those options. All right? Temperature. That is a number. So it's more than nominal. I'm going to squeeze this in a little bit here. Is it ranked in order? Is it ordinal, like first, second, third? No. Would it be interval or ratio? If I'm talking about temperature and I think about 0, is 0 a quantity or is it in the lineup on the interval? It's interval. Because if I'm looking at my degrees that's associated with that, if I have a negative 30 degrees, then in the lineup is 0 degrees or 30 degrees. It's not the quantity that I'm talking about. It's just, I'm at 0 degrees. Today is the temperature, right, of 0 degrees. Not because there's 0, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's just 0 degrees. It's just in that lineup. It's just given that value because that's just where it lays in the lineup there. That's what makes it interval. Sea level, same thing, right? You're at straight up sea level. That's 0, right? Or if you're higher above sea level or below sea level, it's just on that interval that you're talking about. All right? Look at part C. Number of days during the past week that a college student studied. So think about 0 here. Temperature, 0, well, it's not nominal. Obviously, it's not ordinal. It's an actual value, so it has to be between interval and ratio. The question is, does 0 have a quantity? Here, 0 was just in the lineup in order. Does 0 have a quantity? Yeah, I could study 0 days. That's a ratio. Good. That's a ratio. Because 0 has a quantity. So always think about 0 and how 0 is affected. Is it just in a lineup? Is it on the interval? Or does it have an actual quantity? That's what we want to go for. Okay. Letter grade earned in your stats class. Right, so it's not interval or ratio. Good, because it's not a number. So the question is it nominal or ordinal? Are grades in a specific order? Yes. And, I mean, process of elimination, we know ordinal is going to be the last one. So you have an example of all of them, right? But just you can also think about your letter grade is in that order. A, B, C, D, F. There's an order to that. Doesn't always have to be first, second, third. You're not always running a race here. It could be an order, any type of order, and letter grades are a specific order. A is a different order than B, and they have different meaning associated with their order. Okay? All right, you made it! Your first section in statistics. All right, let's keep on keeping on. You're doing great.